starting off the weekend with a side that just can't seem to get a win. Not even a goal. Well, they did get a goal against us.
Nah, bro, we don't need to talk about Chelsea. I already told you this.
That's it. Chelsea are done.
No, just skip Chelsea.
Wow. They've gotten placed into your disregard list. Wow, they are that bad. A team having spent so much money is now just nobody. Bottom half.
Even the players don't care, so why should we care? So
Good point. Good point. Chelsea fans, you have a lot of thinking to do. On to the top of the league, where it really matters, against Leeds. A side who could, and I really hope, produce the new manager bounce. Can Leeds and Sam Allardyce, Big Sam, get a result against City?
in maybe some kind of twisted dimension, maybe. But I mean, they've shipped 23 goals in April alone. Newcastle have conceded 28 the whole season. They need to somehow stop shipping goals in, and they're facing up against the man in form, Haaland. Record-breaking 35th goal midweek against West Ham. I just can't see any sort of inspiration coming from this Leeds side.
Where's your faith in the new manager bounce? Big Sam, he's here to save Leeds from relegation. It's the title right there. That's the story. That's a narrative.
Big Sam and Leeds don't care about the title like you do right now.
No, I mean title.
That.
I meant narrative title, like story title, not like title champions. I'm saying Leeds are gonna set a story. So Big Sam back at it again. He has a crazy record for. He's the guy to call. Sam Allardyce is the guy to call when you need to save a side from relegation, and that's exactly what Leeds are trying to do here right now.
Well, they should have called him 2 months ago when they hired Javi Garcia. But speaking of Sam Allardyce, what do you think about his comment from his interview saying he's better than Pep than anybody when it comes to football knowledge?
I think it's a wild take, but I hear him. I think he has a point. Not maybe that he's better, but I do respect the fact that he's able to take a team with few resources and produce success out of it. And success is relative per team, but he's able to meet the expectation every time. He needs to get them out of relegation, comes in, saves the day. That to me is sensational from a manager. And if we're looking at a guy like Pep, I question Pep's ability with low resources. I want to see him on a stage where he doesn't have all the money in the world, where he doesn't have the best team and the best players. I want to see. I think Pep is the best manager to have if you have an unlimited budget. But when you don't have the resources, when you don't have the spending budget, when you don't have the ideal players that you'd want, I don't know if Pep is your guy. And does that now raise questions? Is Pep truly the best manager in the world?
Well, I'll tell you what, if you ask any Leeds, maybe not every, but if you ask most Leeds fans right now, are you taking Pep or Sam? Big Sam. I think most of them are taking Big Sam because, like you said, I don't think Pep is cut out for this type of job, right? That's why we're probably never going to see him go into this type of role. Whereas, I mean, you see now Mourinho's kind of proven it from even the lower sides to the top sides, right? He won the Champions League with Porto. Actually, both times he won the Champions League was with Porto was a bigger underdog, but Inter was sort of an underdog as well, right? So I think it's a very interesting take, but objectively, who's considered the best manager? Objectively, we're looking at a manager like Pep that has shown it at the top level. But I also have to you also have to give credit to the likes of Sean Dyche, Big Sam, Roy Hodgson, who's come back to Crystal Palace, has done excellent. You have to give a different kind of credit, but still deserving credit to these guys.
So recircling back to the initial question, with all of that considering, can Big Sam get Leeds the result against City?
I know you're hoping, but no. Let's be honest. But I mean, I do think what he's done. I mean, that this is him, right? He takes all the attention and the pressure away from the players. If Leeds expectedly so, let's say they get thrashed 5-0, then it's all on Big Sam, right? We're all going to be laughing at him. Big Sam, you said you're better than Pep and you got thrashed 5-0. None of it is going to be said about the players. I mean, I think Leeds players were under fire this past weekend for not acknowledging the fans. Again, we don't know the context. It was only a 45-second video, but they're already under some kind of pressure, not just on the field, but off the field as well. So now you have a manager who's very experienced in these things come in and say something ludicrous as that to the general public, and that's going to take all the pressure and attention away from them. And I think that's kind of a welcome bonus for those players, and they're almost under less pressure now to get a result at City, because all the blame is going to fall on the manager instead of the players.
Yeah, an experienced mind game trick from Big Sam. Moving on to a struggling side who, at this point, I don't see any hope for. Tottenham host Crystal Palace in a London derby. Are we looking at another Tottenham L?
This one's tough to call because I think Tottenham are pretty much out of the Champions League race now. I mean, if they manage to get just a point at Anfield, maybe they would have the hope. But at this point, no. Europa League is still on, but do they really truly want that? I guess they don't want to go to the Conference League, right? But Palace seemingly safe now all of a sudden. Remember all the talk about when Vieira was about to be sacked? How, they were winless in 2023 and they were dangerously flirting with the relegation battle. Now they're safe on 40 points. That pretty much guarantees your safety. You could say they don't have anything to play for, but they're under good momentum right now. And that could carry them through against Tottenham.
Yeah, in my opinion, I think Crystal Palace have this one. Olise is too good. Tottenham are just too much in shambles. I'm really looking at a Crystal Palace win here.
I think more so than Olise. Olise was playing under Vieira, right? But one of the players that was promising but didn't get much playing time under, certainly towards the latter stages of Vieira's career, was Eberechi Eze. He's hasn't scored in the last 3 games, if I remember correctly, but ever since Vieira got sacked, he's been the main goal scoring outlet / goal provider for Palace. So was Vieira sacked for not playing one of the top youngsters like Eze? I mean, I don't, as far as I'm aware, I don't think they had any beef or any sort of tension going on between them. But Eze is flourishing under lack of, I don't know if lack of Vieira is the right term, but under, he's been freed from Patrick Vieira and he's thriving.
Yep. So there you go, Crystal Palace. That's it. Eze and Olise, the two key players to look out for against Tottenham. Moving on to a rejuvenated Liverpool. They host Brentford in a side who was looking good in a long unbeaten run, but is now on the drop. What's happening now for Liverpool? Are we looking at a straight Liverpool win here?
Well, they got just over the line against Fulham. And I don't think it'll be as straightforward either against Brentford. And Tottenham are the only team that made it very easy for Liverpool at home. Fulham made it tough. Even Forest made it tough for Liverpool. And I expect the same against Brentford as well. If you remember the game against Forest, Liverpool struggled so badly to deal with the long throw-ins. And who have we got? At Brentford, another throw-in specialist. Could that be something that we could look out for a source of goal from Brentford?
Yeah, Liverpool Yeah, they're a bit shaky on the set pieces, so I mean that could be something that can really cause some danger. But Liverpool do have Luis Diaz back, and he did perform well against Tottenham in the not last match, but the match two
Everybody
matches
does
ago.
against Tottenham.
That is true. That is true. But are we looking at him as a key player, or we're looking at Jota maybe?
Well, yeah, I want to mention Jota because up until last month, he hadn't scored for over a year. And I think Luis Diaz is still getting back into his form. So I'll cut him some slack. But Jota, I mean, great finish against Tottenham. There was no angle. I mean, you could say Fraser Forster should have done better, maybe. But yeah, this guy's been assisting, this guy's been scoring. And you know how potent he can be. When he came over from Wolves, he was scoring for fun. Someone that I personally didn't expect to, be on fire this much at a top club, and I doubted him in the middle of the season, but now he's turned the season around. So he's going to be another source. He was benched against Fulham for a slight injury, but I think he should be able to play against Brentford at home on Saturday.
So that's it. We're looking. So maybe I grind out Liverpool win then. Cause Joe, like you said, Jota is gonna be the one to watch, but then we have Brentford on the set pieces potentially. So we're
Yeah,
looking at a close one.
yeah, it's gonna be a close one. I just think something about Anfield just gonna carry them over the finishing line. I think.
Yeah, Anfield is always dangerous. And another stadium that is dangerous for any side really in the Premier League, St. James's Park, is hosting Arsenal on
Big one.
Sunday.
Big one.
And this is one where I am nervous about. I will not lie.
You should be because I'm pretty sure it was around this time last year as well, where Arsenal's top four hopes capitulated with a dreadful performance and a 2-0 loss. Could the same thing happen again? I mean, I think if you lose this game, the title's gone pretty much.
Yeah, there's no way after that City keep dropping points. But is there a way for Arsenal, in your opinion? There was a good performance against Chelsea with Jorginho coming in, like you said, against Partey, and it worked out. So you were right on that one. Do you think maybe if Jorginho comes in again, another solid performance from Arsenal, or is this going to prove too tough?
I mean, again, it's very tough to call. I think that win, that 3-1 victory against Chelsea was huge. Something was needed after four straight dropped points, and it was a good game to put some smiles and confidence back into the team. And you're right, I do think Jorginho should continue to start because Partey has been, dare I say, solely responsible for Arsenal dropping all those points the four prior games. I think he probably could even be the biggest contributor, at least. Maybe not the sole contributor, but the biggest.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know what's happened to Partey, bro. Like the start of the season, he was just immense for Arsenal. Like he was the key reason we were winning. So it's like I don't know, something just looks off with him mentally. Like he just seems like something's distracting him, or I don't know if he's carrying an injury that has happened in the past where he's played with injuries. So I don't know what's up, but the fact that he's not playing is a key factor to why we were not playing well. And you could see that. However, with this mental lapse that he's having, he can't play. He's basically injured. Even if he's not physically, he's mentally he's injured, bro. As bad as that sounds, but that is what
Shot
it
in his
is.
head.
That is what it is, bro. And Jorginho has slotted in very well. So
I
that's where the
mean,
competition comes in.
then the question is, Jorginho was obviously just stopgap signing, right? Just for this half a season, because you obviously can't get Declan Rice, Caicedo in the winter for that price. With this much dependency on Partey for Arsenal, how crucial is going to be signing a midfield for the next season? Because you're not only playing the league this next year, you're playing the Champions League. I mean, what's the point of qualifying for the Champions League if you're going to rotate and put the bench players out?
No, it's absolutely crucial. I think if we don't get at least one central midfielder, we're going to be in trouble. And I think we need two, because Jacques has been playing a hell of a lot of minutes as well. He's been playing basically every match, even League Cup matches, he's playing full 90. It's like, bro, this guy needs a rest. And I get it, because he's a crucial part of the system where you kind of need that physicality in the midfield. We have talented players who can offer a lot on the ball, but is those duels. We spoke about it in the past. What wins Premier League matches is the duels. How many duels can you win? Because that's really what it comes down to. Just that's what's gonna make the difference whether your team has the ball or not. And Xhaka is going to win 9 times out of 10 more duels than a Fabio Vieira. You see?
Well, I also think another priority alongside a center mid, obviously, is a center half position, especially that right-sided center half. Would you take? I mean, obviously, Saliba and Gabriel are going to be the nailed on starters, so you're not looking at the likes of, Kim Min Jae or some of those the top names, right? Obviously, not going to come and sit on the bench. Would you take the likes of Lewis Dunk? Premier League proven, can play off from the back. Might be a bit
Listen,
expensive, but
I've always rated Lewis Dunk. Like, a lot of people have given me shit for that. I've always rated Lewis Dunk and Dan Burn. Two players I've found very
no,
solid.
you cannot put Dan Burn in
I
this.
put Dan Burn in there, bro. Like, I think he reads blocks very well. He makes a lot of good blocks. He's strong. He's strong defensively. He's good in the air. He may not be the best attacker, but he does his job very well at left back, and defending his priority as a fullback. But to your point on Lewis Dunk, yeah, he'd be a good option. I think he'd be a great addition to the side. But if I'm being real, I don't agree with it that centre back is one of the priority positions right now. I think we just got very unlucky towards the end of the season with 2 injuries in the same area. We went from first string centre back, Saliba, to third string in holding, because Tomiyasu would have been the next one in. And Tomiyasu could have slotted in either at centre back. He plays left centre back for Japan. So, I mean, right centre back, no issue. And then, or worst case, he can play right back and have Ben White slotting at centre back. So either way, I don't think centre back is the priority. For me, it's striker. For me, I think we need a clinical number 9 off the bench coming in for Jesus in matches where it's tight, we're creating chances. We need somebody to just come in and just nick a goal. Ideally, Eddie is that guy, but I don't know if I can trust Eddie's efficiency yet.
Well, give us a name, because you have Balogun coming back. He's not gonna want to go back on loan. Give us a name that you want to sign.
Boy, I'll
But
have
a
to think about
realistic
that.
one, not Harry Kane, obviously. A realistic one.
Harry Kane, bro. No, like it's gotta be someone off the bench. I'm looking for someone like in their prime or to like experienced level. Someone who's a classic number 9 and who, good hold up play, can, decent in the air, can just be like like I said, a proper number 9, really. I have to think about a name. I have to go through and like really scout it out. Let's say,
Well,
right, all right, if we're looking in the all right, honestly, like even Isaac, I don't think Isaac would play on the bench, but he would be a great player, honestly.
no,
He's good.
I said realistic.
Okay, yeah,
I mean,
realistic.
what you just described is screaming Ivan Toney to me.
Ivan Toney. That would be a good option, yeah. Yeah. The only thing with him is I don't know if he has the professionalism. I don't know if Ivan Toney. I don't know if I want that drama in the club. I want someone just a little bit more like level-headed when it comes to the media and stuff like that.
I mean, the only thing is, I mean, that's what not scares, but kind of puts me off of Ivan Toney too, because of his. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen with his. I mean, what 300 plus times that he's betted on football matches. Like, I just
Yeah.
we need this to be resolved for our sake,
Yeah.
selfishly, not for
No,
Ivan Toney or Brentford's sake, but for our sake.
no, for real. But I would have said Mitrovic if it wasn't for the red card recently. He would have
Well,
been a good show.
again, he's a bit of a hothead.
Yeah, he is. That's the only thing. But I don't know if he's able to run in behind even as much a little bit. But
We can come back with a proper answer on that still. We can get even a Callum Wilson will be decent actually. I like Callum Wilson. He's a good shot. Put Callum Wilson in as the pin right now. We'll come up with a more defined answer. But aside, who has a striker right now who is just absolutely clinical? Couldn't provide it against Brighton, but Marcus Rashford in sensational form. Unfortunately for your sake, he couldn't do it against Brighton, but can he revive his form away at West Ham?
He loves scoring against West Ham. He scored against them 2 seasons running. I think more than that. I can't remember exactly. Again, we're relying on him to score the goals. You know, if he goes quiet, the whole team goes quiet. We saw against Brighton. We saw against Tottenham. He was a creator for both goals. Same with Villa. He got in behind and took a shot that deflected and onto Bruno Fernandes. We're a Marcus Rashford team, and our record against top 9, we're winless away from home. 1 draw that was against Tottenham, and 7 losses. Sorry. If we include Fulham, who are in 10th, I mean that gets us a win. The last minute goal, if you remember the last game before the World Cup, Garnacho scored that winner. 1 win, 1 draw, and 7 losses. That's just. Thankfully, we got that all out of the way, away from home, top 10 matches. But my God, we're terrible away from home.
So you think you can bet on a manual loss here?
No, it's West Ham. It's West Ham. I got it horribly wrong. I said Arsenal will struggle this season, and they didn't. But I did say West Ham will struggle this season as well, and they mightily did. And I wish we would have played them maybe 2 weeks later, because I think they're technically safe now. They're 4 points adrift the relegation zone. But I think they're still going to be in the back of their head. They're not mathematically safe, right? So, but I mean, I think against West Ham, we need to be clinical. We've bounced back well from most of the defeats that we've had. I'm expecting a bounce back as well.
But I want to ask you about, we spoke about United striking force, but let's talk about the other end of the field. You guys in defense have had 2 of your starting centre-backs injured, and you guys seem to be doing even better in defense now with Luke Shaw and Lindelof. What is going on? I know there was that one slip-up with Shaw for the handball against Brighton, but other than that, what's going on?
I mean, I think it just comes down to having the right. Well, first of all, we play very defensively. You have to give them that. We don't play as high line as Arsenal or City or any of the top sides, so that gives them even more solidity. And I think we have a good cover in front of the defenders as well. I mean, Casemiro had been shaky in the last few games, but with both the starting centre halves out, he has to step up, and he has stepped up to a certain extent, especially against Villa. And I just think it just comes down to just a good system defensively. You know, I think after shipping in 4 goals against Brentford, second game of the season, Ten Hag will have looked at, trying to minimize those, right? And obviously it hasn't worked to perfection every time. We've shipped 6 at City, 7 at Liverpool, 3 at Arsenal, and so on and so on. But I just think the way we defend, more as a team rather than, pressing the teams, pinning the teams back, I think that helps the defenders that we have. Lindelof not blessed with pace, Luke Shaw not out and out center half. But when you have less ground to cover, it's always going to help.
Yeah, so I guess the system maybe is suiting them right now. I guess you could say that. Is there any opportunity for West Ham to counter this system? Maybe a Mikel Antonio with the physicality, Luke Shaw. I don't know if he can really manage that. What do you think?
Well, Luke Shaw's a physical specimen. He looks a bit chunky, but he's fast. I think he's the fastest player on our team, and he's fairly strong as well. To be honest, I'm not worried about Mikel Antonio. The guy is not a clinical striker of any sort.
No, but the
Of course,
physicality, the athleticism, he's gonna definitely bully the centre backs around. He's gonna definitely cause some havoc.
yeah, I mean, of course he has a physicality. And someone that I'll be more worried about him being on will be Lindelof. Lindelof is not a physical. His strength is not his physicality. So if there's any worrying points, would be on Lindelof. But I'm really looking at West Ham's midfield. Declan Rice didn't play against Man City because of a stomach issue. I'll be hoping he doesn't play against us either. I mean, just go sit on the toilets for a bit until Sunday. But Jared Bowen is, of course, can always come up with something out of nothing. But yeah, West Ham, lack of ideas, relying on Bowen mostly. I just think we'll have enough to get over them.
Well, make we say hopefully Declan Rice is not on the toilet for this one. And we can see our West Ham victory, see them little bit out the relegation zone and see what go on with Man U.
West Ham have been a very good opponent for us. I think we're unbeaten since the EFL Cup like 2-3 years ago. So I'm hoping that continues. But we'll move on to the quickfire session. Chelsea have been relegated to the quickfire session. We don't talk about them anymore.
Oh my.
Bournemouth, I mean, they traveled to Bournemouth, who are on fire. And seemingly, again, I think they're safe too. Mathematically not, but realistically safe.
That is just insane. They're level on points. They're literally level on points.
Yeah, if Bournemouth score 20 goals on them, then the goal difference gets shifted also between Chelsea and Bournemouth.
Well, we know Chelsea is not scoring 20. We know that for sure. So, so what we're saying then, we're looking at a 1-0.
I mean, Bournemouth, Arsenal kind of took their foot off the gas in the second half, right, against Chelsea. That allowed them back in to score even. Hard to see them scoring against Bournemouth, especially at home. They're solid at home defensively.
Wow. There you have it, 1-0. Wolves, Aston Villa.
Wolves need to respond after the 6-0 thrashing, but I'm just going to go with Villa, probably.
Should be straightforward. Aston Villa. Fulham, Leicester on a Monday.
Yeah, a lot of the games are being played on Monday because of the coronation, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But this one, Fulham are in a bit of a downward spiral. I'll go with a Leicester point, salvaging a point.
That's a fair claim. Brighton, a side that snatched a victory right at the end against Man United with a brilliant McAllister penalty, to say the least. De Gea, this guy cannot save a penalty to save his life.
Well, to be fair, nobody was saving that McAllister penalty. It was a good one, but yeah, De Gea cannot save penalties. But this one I'll probably have to go with Brighton.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone is gonna go for Everton in this one. Let's be real. And finally, Nottingham Forest hosts Southampton.
Forest. I think Southampton are down. I mean, I've been saying it, but it's too late. Even if they win this game, I think it's going to be a bit too little, too late for them. But
I'm going
I'll go with
Southampton.
Forest.
I'm going Southampton.
Okay. Forest beat Brighton at home last weekend, if you remember. So they can still pull away with the result at home. They're showing that.
Well, we can see what go on. I'm definitely looking at some of the Southampton quality and thinking they can pull off something.
All right. Well, we'll see.
that's all we have time for today. Guys, thanks for tuning in as always. We hope you enjoyed your time with us. Remember to subscribe, to leave comments, and share with your friends. Follow us on social media at FOTBpod. Don't forget to leave a review, rating, and most importantly, don't forget to turn on those notifications. Join us again next time as we discuss the highly anticipated upcoming Premier League action. Thanks again as always. See you then.